Evening, folks.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We're actually talking to you from the Gloucester Canal. I'm not exaggerating, Matt. We are on the Gloucester Canal.
We'll show
them.
We're
not
in
even
a
on
bit.
the banks. We're actually over the canal.
We're over the. Should we show them now?
Yeah, show them.
Ready? I'm gonna have to do some manoeuvrage. There she is.
And look what we're out on. Look what we're out on.
The boards of the Gloucester Canal.
Oh.
And this is where we've been fishing this weekend. This weekend on the Sensas Challenge UK final.
And it's been absolutely brilliant.
It's been a good weekend, hasn't it?
I always look forward to this because it's a very unique event for two reasons. First of all, it's the only chance we get to fish against the French, isn't it? And you know, it's one of the biggest and best, most prestigious team fishing events on the calendar. And also, the fishing for the last 3 years anyway has been uniquely difficult, hasn't it?
Very, very difficult. It's been hard, and I think it's worth mentioning as well, it's not only the French that have been, we've had teams from Ireland, Scotland, Wales, the Channel Islands, and a couple of French teams, haven't we, this year?
Yeah.
So get to fish against all sorts of different people, haven't we?
It's been brilliant. Really,
awesome.
really good.
How did you get on?
Well, I've had a brilliant couple of days in some ways.
Yeah.
But in other ways, I've been a little bit unlucky.
We haven't had a chance to talk to each other much, have we?
No, we've had a couple of late night chats, haven't we? But that's been about it. But just to put this into context, there's been 30 teams of 5 fish this event. And they've paid the top 10, or they've paid the top 6 teams, but the top 10 teams have got prizes.
Yeah.
And they've paid the top 7 individuals out of the 150 anglers.
Yeah.
And I think, Matt, I'm right in saying I finished 8th or 9th.
Oh, mate.
But the really, really frustrating part about it is, if I'd have weighed 50 grams more today, I'd have had another point, and then I'd have been 4th or 5th.
50 gram, what's that, 2 ounce?
Yeah.
Did you lose any?
No.
Good lad.
But
good performance. Well done.
Did I let I lost one actually? I won a little roach thinking about it. I think I did.
You've got to let them one go.
I think I lost one, but yeah, yesterday I drew a stretch called Rear Bridge.
Yeah.
And I was actually the end peg.
Was you?
Which I really fancied.
Yeah.
And it was just
that's where we practiced today, and it was really difficult then though.
He said it was tough. But the weird thing was, you know, just to give you a snapshot of the match, the action was very specific. 2.5 hours in, I ain't got a bite. I had a bite, and with it being a team match, I'm obviously sweating.
And it's only a 4-hour match, by the way.
Sweating just a little bit, so I'm like, oh dear. And then I've had a tiny fish down the edge. I've gone back on my long line because I thought I don't need to scratch around for a blade of grass anymore. I've got my, you know, not blank, so I can go for a bream. Gone back out long, caught 2 bream in 2 chucks, pretty much. The lad next to me by this point's got 2 in the bag. A couple of minutes later, we had another one. And that was it.
All the action in half an hour?
That was all the action of the day, mate. And I've ended up 2nd in my 15 peg section. Yeah. With a £5 2. Yeah. Today, I've drawn a different stretch altogether. A stretch called, what's it called?
Plamelli or something
like that. Plamelli, yeah, I've drawn that.
Plamelli.
And I've actually been 1 in from the MPEG today. So, not an MPEG, still, you know, I thought that might be alright. I had a lovely day. I've had 6 skimmers on bloodworm, or some on blood and some on double joker. Nice. Strangely, couldn't get a bite on a bigger bait. Ever so weird. Light rigs, little bits. It's almost like they've been hammered. Not feeding a lot of bait. Yeah. But as I say, I've had them 6 fish. Have gone. 6 fish, and I've had 3 little roaches. Well, they've gone 1 kilo 600. Right. And that was 4th in the 15 pegs. I needed 1 kilo 650
to win the section.
But that's me out the way. That's the boring bit out the way. Let's now talk.
Interesting. How's your team done?
I don't know.
Because you were all right yesterday, weren't you?
We were 6th yesterday.
Right.
But today's not on to plan for.
Never mind.
With our anglers. But these things happen, love.
Never mind.
Things happen, you know. It's a patchy venue, isn't it? And,
very patchy.
But there's always got to be a winner, and certain people are up there more than most. So tell them about how you've done today. I've
had a lovely weekend, great time with the Drennan Barnes the Blacks team. My team was myself, James Dent, Alan Scotthorne, Lee Kerritt and Andy Power. Great team, lovely set of lads. And on the individual front, I had a nice day yesterday. I wasn't happy with where I drew because the bit where I am, is it Netheridge it's called? Yeah. There's a big bay opposite you, as you know, and normally there's some bream feed there, or there has been. On the day before, the Starlets boys sat there and caught 40 pound of bream in practice, and I were right up in this narrow bit at the top end, which has been alright, but if the bream fed, I would be in trouble. Thankfully, they didn't feed, so I was very, very lucky in that context. But I had a really nice day's fishing. I ended up weighing 4 kilo 850 or something like that. Hang on, we're on low power, Thomas.
Yeah.
4 kilo 850. I've had 2 lines short. It's really deep, this canal. Sometimes next to the edge it's like 20 foot deep in some places, isn't it? Really and my peg were about 6 foot right in the edge, so I've had a line right in the edge, caught a few little fish early. Another line a little bit further out in 9 feet of water, caught a few chunky roach there, and I'm really lucky I fouled up to bream there.
I've heard about this. Lee Carey was very bitter about this earlier.
I know.
He says that you told everybody it was £1.5.
I told some people it was 10 ounce.
And it was, according to 2 sources, Lee's told me it was over £4.
It definitely wasn't £4.
Paul Dix has said if it wasn't £4, he'd give Lee Carey Bristol Angling Centre his shop.
Lee Carey told me, Paul Dix said if it wasn't £3, he'd give him Bristol Angling Centre.
Well, Matt, maybe it's growing in your net. Maybe it's getting bigger all the time.
It might have been. Well, put it this way, it was £4 by the time it got 3 pegs down.
That's it then.
Ask Lee Wright, he weighed me in and he saw it.
He said it was near £5, mate.
Did he?
Yeah.
Right. It were about. It were probably might have been £2. It were a big skimmer. If I looked at it in its dorsal fin, and I got a 22 hook on, 06 hook length, free elastic. I managed to get it in, so I were really lucky but pleased. But I think 3 kilo 100 or something like that was second, so I'd have still been, probably been second still without it. And then after hooking that, it went a bit quiet. My short line's a little bit disturbing, so I've gone long. And for the rest of the match, or for the last 2 hours of the match, I didn't go long until halfway through the match, I've caught odd little chunky skimmers. I've probably caught 15 of them, and they were sort of 4 ounce to 10 ounce. Cupped all my bait in, which is a bit different to what a lot of people have done. A lot of people have balled it. I cupped sort of 20 balls in at the start with not a lot of bait, and left it, and luckily some fish settled over it, and I had a really nice end to the match, potting little balls in with some joker, fishing little hook baits like you said, double and triple bloodworm. And I ended up second in the section, beat by Matt Derry, who was on the opposite end peg. He had a lovely net of fish. You've got a picture of his fish for you to have a look at. 5 kilo 580 I think he had. He caught all them on the long pole with bloodworm. And then today I drew a right weird pit. You've seen it, haven't you?
Tanker Bay.
I drew Tanker Bay. Jesus. I mean, I've got a picture or a little video in peg, and there's like boats nearly. You can nearly reach them with a pole. It's like a bay off the canal, and all the sections in a bay. And to cut a long story short, it was really, really difficult. Rob Ewison, who finished second individually, won the section off the corner peg, the end peg where it goes into the canal. And then it was rock hard. A lot of people caught just ounces. There were a couple of £1 weights, a £2 weight, a couple of £2, but really, really, really difficult. And I ended up weighing £3.13. I don't know why they weighed pounds today.
Yeah, they did to me yesterday, pounds today, ounces today. But I think Mark said there was a shortage of scales.
Right. But I ended up 3.13. I caught 4 or 5 of these little chunky skimmers, just exactly the same as what I did yesterday, sort of thing. Just caught an odd un during the match.
Yeah.
And sort of 20 little bleak and a few little roach and little skimmers, really scratching around, throwing some slop in, catching them shallow in the upper layers. A little bit of red slop seemed best, which were interesting. And that put me second again. Brilliant. So I've ended with 4 points, enough to finish third individual. Got a little medal.
Brilliant.
And picked us up a bit of money.
You've done
so we can go to pub tonight.
We can when we get back.
But more importantly, this is a team event.
I was just going to say, there's a couple of things I think I want to say. First of all, why I love Sensas Challenge so much. First of all, it's an excuse to go away with your team.
Yeah.
Now, neither of us spend enough time with our respective teams.
No,
we always
definitely
said that.
not.
And I've loved these last few days. We've had such a laugh. Pete Scott, Jay Scrivener, Lee Wright, Gary Mumby's come down, Armour Joward, Ricky Marshall, Tom Potter, James Wilson, you know, with Rob Perkins, of course. We've just had, and Stu Burdekin, you know, the best 4 days I've had in ages for fun. Like Pete Scott's a nutter. He's an absolute nutter.
I like him, Scriv me.
Well, I've got a funny story about Scriv.
Go on.
Right. Jason Scrivener, right. We had a few pints, and when he turned up at the pub, he said to me, he said, "You won't believe how miserable the taxi driver we've just had's been." I'm like, she's a right miserable bugger. I'm like, oh, right, okay. Anyway, that night he's gone home and he's jumped in this taxi, and there's a bloke driving who was quite chirpy. So Jay's gone, "Oh, it's good to see somebody with a smile on her face, much better than that miserable cow who picked us up earlier. She was right sour-faced." And this bloke's gone, "All right, what did she look like?" He says, "Yeah, she was quite short, brown hair, quite fat." "Oh yeah," he says, "on this number?" I went, "Yeah, that's my wife." And so then Jay's in, innit? He's in at the deep end, so he carried on digging, didn't he?
Did he? Well, tell her to smart her up.
No, he said, what's she doing at the minute, flying around on a broomstick? So that was funny. And did you have the pirate ship come past you on things?
Yeah, we had a pirate ship.
Oh, unbelievable.
Captain Hook was tickling Peter Pan off at plank with sword, wasn't he?
It's been a long time since I've been tickled off on a plank. Anyway, that was brilliant. And you've had some good time with your boys, haven't you?
Oh mate, it's been mint. We've had a right giggle. We've got stuck into Andy Power, you know. People have got him down as a quiet one. I'll tell you what, he's been telling me about some of his women he's been having. Right. He's into large women. No. Honestly, yeah. Really? How large? In his car, in his van, in his glove compartment, he's got like a, I don't know what it's called. It's like, what's it called? That weird sort of fetish kit. He's got a bondage gear. Yeah. Has he? I thought. Has he got hog ties? Hog ties. I says to him, Andy, I didn't know you brought an icebreaker, because there were bits of chain and stuff in it. Yeah. And he like shuffled it back in and he says, Matt, don't say out, but it's not my icebreaker. Well, you haven't said out, mate, have you? You've only told me, and we tell each other everything. We're just having a chat. Nobody else needs to know about it, mate. Of course they don't. But now we had a brilliant time, but you know what? What? The best bit about it was the result. Oh, how did you do? Well, I know how you do. We won as a team. Yeah! Well done, mate. Two medals. That's 2 years on the trot, isn't it? Yeah, we've won 2 years on the trot, and we were third the year before as well. So you're best anglers in the country, aren't you, I would say? Yeah, I think it's worth mentioning as well, a big well done to the individual winner. That's the next thing I want to talk about. Definitely. How brilliant was it to see him? I mean, he's been in my section today. He's won the section, 1 kilo 950. It was really, really close. But you know what he's done? Go on. What's Ireland famous for? Bream. And Guinness. Great big women. No. Roach. Yes, great big roach. He's had 2 of the biggest roach I've seen out of this canal. Really? One of them must have been pushing over 1.5 pounds anyway. Wow. Got a little video of him just sneaking them back. I can drop in, but yeah, Connor Brown, what a bloke, what an angler. Awesome bloke. He's won his section both days, the only person to do that, isn't he? And so, awesome. I think they might be having a Guinness or 2 tonight, do you? I think we're going to see him tomorrow, aren't we? Yeah, we're going to Ireland tomorrow. We are. So, right, thank you very much, folks. Hope you've had a good weekend. Yeah, hope you've had a good weekend, and we hope you've enjoyed our little vlog. So, we'll see you next week. Have a good week, and if you're on the bank, we hope you catch plenty. Love you all.